Hello and welcome. Today's topic, we are going to be discussing network marketing tips to become better at phone conversions and to build a team. If you have been in network marketing for any length of time, you have heard and you're probably fully aware that the telephone is the key to success in network marketing. It's the only way that can guarantee results. I'm not saying what type of results. It will guarantee results, if you were to pursue it and stay with it. The more you do it, the better you get, of course, but it's the only way that you know for a fact something's going to come out of it. And the longer you do it and the more you do it, the more things are going to come out of it, and you can build a team. So I have been using the telephone for many years, and it's been very my biggest way of signing people up. I mean, I do get other forms, through ads and through people reaching out to me, but the phone has been by far the most useful. So I want to go in there and I want to discuss some things about this to help you to get good at the telephone, just to start using it, because I think the way you're thinking of the telephone is what is preventing you from making those phone calls. So let's dive into the mindset of a fearless network marketer. And I will admit, the first time that, I made a phone call, I was nervous. I was really nervous. I even had a script put out for the whole conversation on what to say. It didn't help. The more I make the calls and the more I learn how things work out and they pan out and they go, the less fear, of course, you'll have with it. As a matter of fact, it only takes a few calls and you pretty much realize, like, hey, I got the hang of this, So if you want success, that's the first thing. You're doing these calls for success. And the mindset you need to have is, so what? You're not calling to make a sale. If you think that your call is what's going to generate the sale, or you're going to have to make this sale, and if a sale doesn't come out of the phone call, then you're being rejected or you lost, then that's not the right way to think. The way you want to think is, I'm going to make these calls and I'm simply looking for the right person. I'm just going to go through there, see who my prospect is. Which one of these guys are the ones that want to become a prospect and want to join a network marketing business? So you'll start making the phone calls, and what you want to look for is, for me anyways, if I meet people who have low energy, or they're short answered, you ask them a question, they're yes, no, they have no personality, low energy, short answers, if they're rude, if they don't sound educated, if perhaps they just sound like they're idiots or something like that, I'm not going to try to bring this person on the team. What I'll do is refer them to something like a link or a video, like, hey, if you want, I can email you some information, something like that. And most of them will say yes, but very few of them will do anything with it. But that's what I'll do with those, because I don't want to just assume that someone, just because I'm not getting a good vibe on them, I don't want to just assume that that person's going nowhere. I want to at least give them a chance to prove me wrong. So now, in the case of someone who has high energy, who you ask them a question and they can go on forever with an answer, they have background experience in sales and so forth. Those type of people are the ones I want to get on the team. So if I pick up on that through the very beginning of the conversation, I'm going to pursue and start talking more about what I do, things of that nature. But the idea is, I at least have the person on the phone that I know will talk about it. And see, I've eliminated anybody, giving me rejection. I kind of reject them first if I don't like the way the call's going. So keep that in mind. That is the mindset. You're not there to sign everybody up. Who cares about signing everybody up? Instead, you're only calling through this list of people or this list of leads that you have to see if you can find the person who you can possibly sign up. That's all it is. You focus on it like that. Like, I'm just looking for somebody I can talk to, connect with, and get along with. It becomes much easier. I don't even mention signing up when I first call up. I don't even do that. And I get a lot of signups on the first call because I just so happen to hit the right person. And after, sometimes we talk half an hour. So I've talked over 2 hours with prospects. We had such a good call. And at the end of that call, they're on the team. And I didn't push it or force it. They forced it onto themselves. They're like, hey, I want to get in. I want to join. So keep that in mind, and remember the idea is to work as many of these calls every day as possible. You'll meet more people you can sign up. You'll meet more people you can get along with, and you begin to really, really build a business. So here's another big point I want to bring up. Where do the leads come from? Because this has a lot to do with how people view calling leads. Purchase leads, or I call them biz up leads, are probably the worst way to go about building an MLM business. Anybody in the industry will tell you that. Network marketing leads are usually, if you're buying them and they say, hey, this person is looking for information to work from home. They got $500 to get started. They said they're open to you calling them. And then you call them, you don't get an answer. If you do, they're so sick of being called by 5,000 people that day, they have no interest. When people come into the business and that's what they are, subjected to, or that's the first experience they have, no wonder they don't want to call leads. They'll probably judge a self-generated lead with the same mindset as, oh, I remember calling those leads. Oh, it was terrible. Didn't get any results. No one had money. Everybody was angry. Purchase leads, I've used them. I'll still use them from time to time if I have nothing else to do. Like if it can maybe bring on a little extra. Yes, I have signed up people and gotten results from purchase leads. Keep in mind, it took a lot of time and it's a rare thing. But I would avoid those types of leads unless you absolutely have nothing else to go on. If anything, get some practice out of it. The next type of lead is the genealogy lead, and these are usually cold leads. I work these cold, as in this person never asked me to call. I have had great results with these. And you're thinking, well, they never asked to be called. Exactly. They were never asked to be called. I called them out of the blue. I signed up a lot of people. And the reason is genealogy leads are people who they've been in the industry before. They have some kind of experience with network marketing. They, many cases, are in love with the idea of network marketing. They've worked in several companies. They've at least worked in one. And you usually get one of three results with these leads. Either one, I'll never do it again. I hated my first experience, and that's the most rare one. Number two, which is the most common, is I'm happy in the company I'm with. And I have a whole blog post about how to work genealogy leads, on how to make money from that type of response. And then third is, hey, I'm not involved in something, or I'm looking to get in something new. Hey, I'm open to taking a look. Genealogy leads, when you call them, in their mind, they automatically assume that you must be successful because you're doing something they were scared to death to do. So you've got to be successful, right? And they will approach, many of them, most of them will approach the conversation as, this person is good at what they do, and I want to listen to them. So they give you this kind of authority right off the bat. And don't worry about calling them out of the blue. You'll leave a lot of messages, and you'll get a lot of callbacks, or the ones that don't call you back, no worry. But either way, genealogies are way better than purchase leads, and you'll see a larger return on investment on those. Now, self-generated leads are the best. They're by far the best. And that's where someone actually raises their hand and they come directly to you because they know what you have or they're interested in finding out what you have. Either way, they already know who you are. You generated them either through your blog, through a video, through an advertisement, self-generated. And if you're using a funnel that requests a number, like mine says optional. So if a person puts their phone number in, they are definitely telling me they're okay with being called. Think about it. It told them they didn't have to give me their number, but they did anyway. So self-generated leads are where it's at. And see, that's what I'll do. If I've got a lot of leads, I've had days where I generated so many leads through advertisements along with everything else to where that's all I could call was my own leads. If I run out of those, I'll move to genealogy, and that's about all I do. And every now and then somebody will buy some leads and say, hey, will you mind checking these out for me? And, you know, I'll run those as well. But though that determines a lot on how the quality of the prospect's going to be. So keep that in mind as you work your leads, okay? And always be focused on how you can generate your own leads. And I would work genealogy as you learn and do that. So here's where it really gets into the good stuff. How do I start a conversation? That's where everybody goes wrong. On my website, I've left some ideas to start conversations with. You can find a link below in the description. And I just give you some ideas on like how I approach it, what I say. I don't use scripts. All right. I do not use scripts. The only thing that's scripted is my opening line, is the first thing I say when they answer the phone. And that's because I've said it so many times, I've gotten into the habit of saying the same thing. And depending on what type of lead they are, if they're genealogy, if they're self-generated, that's going to determine what I'm going to say, because, you know, some people asked for information, some didn't. So you have different ways of doing that. But I'll give you an example. You can go to my website and get all three, even the purchase lead opening. But what I would say to somebody, if I generated the lead and they put their telephone number in, and this one has worked like a charm, because remember, in my company, we have landing pages that have funnels, generate the leads, follows up for me, and ask for a phone number. So if I get the phone number, I always say, when they answer, I say, hi, whatever their name is, and I tell them, my name is Jay, and the reason I was giving you a call is because you were on a website of mine, and there was a form for phone numbers. It was optional form, and you put this telephone number in. So I really wasn't sure if you wanted me to call or if you had questions, but that's the reason I was giving you a call. And almost always they say, oh, yeah, well, which website was it? And then I explain, because there could be one of several websites through the company. Depends on which one it is. And then I usually get a, oh, yeah, or a, oh, you know, I kind of get a vibe if they liked it or not. And if I get the positive vibe, I always shoot for what it was they liked most. I don't ask them what they thought about it. I was like, well, what was most interesting to you? I'm going to ask them that, because they're going to give me what I need to know to interest them, because they're going to be telling me, oh, it's the product, or, oh, yeah, the way y'all, build your teams, the system y'all have in place, whatever it is. And then I'm going to feed off of that and use that as the conversation maker. And, don't be surprised that if, you ask a simple question and your prospect just, go into a different topic and story. I let them do that, because it gives me a chance to get to know them, see what they think about. Are they a sarcastic person? Sometimes my first call goes all over the place with a prospect, but those are always the good ones. Those are always the ones that sign up. If we wind up talking about sports when I was calling them about the business, usually it leads, that's going to be a new team member. because we've already gotten into sports. We're getting to like each other, and that like and know and trust factor is really big. And two, I like to know who I'm working with, who's on my team as well. So you can learn how to start a conversation by visiting my blog and checking out what I share. And remember, that's really all it is. That first line that you say to somebody on the phone, you will know by the way they answer your first question if the prospect is going to be a good one, if that conversation is going to go somewhere, or if the prospect is someone you don't want to work with and you can end the call. So here's something that a lot of people are afraid of, and I've seen this through many people. They ask, what if the prospect asks me something that I don't know? Well, that's going to happen. Okay. It still happens to me. People would ask me, yeah, where's your cannabis grown at? Like, how many farmers are out there? I mean, just the weirdest things, which I actually know where it's grown in Kentucky. But, questions, well, how old's the oldest farmer that's out there, growing y'all's cannabis? I don't know. I don't know. I could find out for you, but you're going to get asked questions that you do not know. It's okay to tell them, I don't know, but I can find out for you. And usually what I have found is when I can't answer something that someone asks, it doesn't make a difference on the outcome of the call. Does not make a difference. They never say, well, you're not very good at what you do. Why are you calling me? I mean, that never happens. They're usually like, okay, yeah, if you can, that'd be great. If not, no big deal, and then you realize like they were just trying to make talk, and if anything, it makes you look more human because no one can know everything. Think about it. I wouldn't make anything up. If you don't know an answer, don't just lie and say something just to thinking that, well, if I don't know the answer to something, they're not going to want to work with me. That's never the case. You got to remember the cardinal rule here. You cannot say the right thing to a wrong person. If that person is not going to sign up, it does not matter what you say. There is no magic words. Just like if the person is going to sign up, it's hard to say the wrong thing. All right. You could probably say the wrong thing, I don't necessarily believe that when they say you can't say the wrong thing to the right person, but you would have to try. You would have to, it's not like you can accidentally say, oh, yeah, man. Yeah, I told him the price, and then he's not going to sign up. So for the basics, that it does apply, but as far as the wrong person, it is true. There's nothing you're going to say to get them to sign up. So don't worry about it. So if somebody asks you something you don't know, who cares? You don't know. Tell them you don't know and move on. Remember, the greatest part of this is the amount of people you call. That's all that really matters. If you're calling massive amounts of people, you're going to find the right ones. And that's when the telephone works, is because if you're calling a lot of people, you're going to find the right ones. That's what you need to focus on. So let's go through the overall concept here, break it down, and end up on this video, or put an end to this video. Remember, never try to make a sale on that first call. Don't worry about it. Some people and some teams may teach your people, you got to get a sale on the first call. No, I would never do that. On that first call, all I'm doing is finding out who this prospect is. And if I don't like the way it's going, then there's nothing else I need to know about them. I'll just tell them, the gap thing, grab a pen. Hey, grab a pen, or I'll shoot you over in an email link to a video with more information. And every now and then some of them do come through, but almost 100% of the time, if you got a bad feeling, there's probably a reason for it. So don't even worry about trying to make a sale on the first call, and that's going to take a lot of that fear and stress off of you right off the bat. Number two, you're not interested in everyone. You're just looking for the right people to talk to. Always remember that. Hey, if I can call 100 people and find the right person, which if you're generating leads, it takes way less. I mean, sometimes I talk to people back to back. One call, prospect was great, pick up the phone, call another one, prospects great. Usually when I'm hitting all the good prospects, I get very few phone calls in because I'm having conversations, you know. If I can get a lot of calls in, that means I'm not finding the right prospect quite as easy. So you're not interested in everyone. That will take a lot of stress off of you too, knowing that, oh, I'm calling Bob here, but it's not because I'm trying to get him on the team. I'm just calling Bob. That's it. I'm calling Bob. And that's all there is to it. All right, work with the highest quality leads first. In other words, if you've generated some leads, start with those. Start with the highest quality first. And let's say you generated 5 leads, call those 5 leads, work those 5 leads, and then bust out into some genealogy leads and, you know, work through those. Maybe call the other 5 back later that day, but you know, start with the highest quality and then work your way down to the least quality. That's the way I do it, and I found that that keeps me feeling like I'm winning. You know, it keeps me feeling like, hey, I'm getting somewhere. If I were to start with the purchase leads, I could go through 100 of them and go nowhere, use up a lot of my time in the day, and have nothing to show. But I start with the highest quality ones. I may be able to get a few people on a presentation, maybe a sign up. And then when I move into the others, if they don't go anywhere, I still succeeded that day. And I don't want it to kill that drive, you know. Always continue to increase the amount of calls you make each day. This is the biggest factor in it. If you work at increasing the amount of people you get on the telephone, you're going to see more and more results. You're going to understand more about what I'm talking about here, and you're going to get better at it. You're going to get less fearful. It becomes natural and second nature. You don't even think about it. So if you're doing 10 calls a day, try for 11. Try to get in that habit. And when you can do 11 in a day, no problem, go for 15 and then go for 20. Then just keep increasing it. So guys, if you got some value from this video, be sure to subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me at Facebook at Jay Carden Marketing. Just type that in, you'll see my page. Be sure to like the page and keep up. And if you're on Twitter, hit me up. You can follow me at Jay Carden. And if you're on LinkedIn, that's my favorite. You know, be sure to look me up on LinkedIn, and maybe if we're a second connection, we can connect there as well. Also, last thing but not least, if you haven't got my free ebook, 20 Ways to Get Leads, you can go to jaycarden.com and pick up a free copy of that right now. The link is below in the description. And guys, I do appreciate you watching the video today and hope you got a lot from it. I'll see you on the next one.